What's up, YouTube Nation? This is Everything Phoenix. We are coming to you live here again, as we always do on Thursday, or at least most of the time we do on Thursday. So, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you. We are going to jump right into some great news on the Arizona housing market and some of the national market too, as well. What in the world is going on with our housing market, guys? Interest rates are crazy high. They're the highest they've been in 20 years now, and affordability now is the lowest it's been in since 1997. Actually, a report just came out today. So, what in the world are we to do? Well, I'm glad you tuned in because we're going to cover that today. And we're going to cover some other things too, some development, some water usage, some water reusage, if I will, and again more housing market stuff as well, because everyone needs to know what in the world's going on. There's a lot of questions out there, but I'm going to lead you or enter this video here, this live today, with one stat that I think is pretty crazy that I think everyone needs to know. And this stat is interesting. Here's the stat, guys. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Listen up for this. This is very, very intriguing. Okay. Did you know that 42% of all homeowners in America are cash, are sitting on a debt free home? They do not have any type of debt or a mortgage on the property. 42%. Okay. Now, out of the remaining amount, 58% of homeowners in America, 62% of those actually have a interest rate on their loan at 4% or less. Okay. Think about that. Now, if you combine those two numbers together, that's about 79% of all homeowners in America that either have a mortgage of 4% or less or no mortgage at all. Okay. Now pause that. Now take that information and then you take the fact that right now household formations are outpacing new home supply that's being built by builders at a pace of 3-1. New households are forming faster at a 3 times multiple faster than D.R. Horton, than Pulte Homes, etc. Lennar Homes can build these houses and deliver them so they can be sold and purchased by a household that is forming or a just a regular old buyer. So you have a serious constraint on supply right now. Okay, even with rates being at 7.5%, getting close to 8, and my prediction is, you heard it right here, that by the end of 2023, we're going to be probably at 9% or maybe even higher by the end of 2023. We're in August right now, right? End of August. So it's interesting to see what happens in the next 4 months here for the year 2023. Now, I'm not through with that stat though, because what does that mean? What are the implications of that? Well, if you just now, obviously, this is just a scenario that could happen. It's likely to happen, but it may not happen. It's very plausible. And that is, as we head into 2024 and the Fed does everything they can to continue to slow the economy, you have an economy now that's starting to sputter, let's say right in 2024 at some point. What's the Fed going to do? Well, they really have two options to do. The one thing that everyone knows is they have the interest rate option. They have that lever they can pull and actually start to decrease by a certain amount of basis points the federal funds rate, and therefore hopefully spur the economy. Okay, that's number one. Number two, which no one talks about, by the way, except here on YouTube Live, Everything Phoenix, we do, mortgage-backed securities, quantitative easing. They could choose, which they probably won't, but they could choose to start buying up some of that on the secondary market, therefore encouraging more liquidity into the market, encouraging people to get mortgages and buy homes, right? That could happen too, okay? Now, if they do either one of those two things, but primarily the interest rate, they start to decrease it at some point in 2024. I heard another stat I'm going to give you guys, and this is a stat that's tried and true by Barry Habib and his crew, that for every 1% of interest rate, that the 30-year fix will drop below 7%. Okay, so if it's at 7, it goes to 6. For every 1% that it drops below 7%, you're looking at an influx of buyer demand to the tune of 1 million home buyers. Yeah, that's right. I can't whistle, right? I can, but I'm on the spot, so I'm nervous, right? But no, 1 million buyers, that's a lot, guys. So if you inject just a little bit more of buyer demand and have hardly any new supply, if not less supply, because people don't want to let go of their 3% interest rate on their mortgage. They don't want to let go of that house. They don't want to let go of it, so maybe they become a newly found landlord by accident, or maybe they just keep it as a second home or whatever it is, keep it vacant because they don't want to let go of that cheap mortgage payment. Then that supply is not replaced, and therefore we have less supply. In that scenario, prices go up or they go down after that scenario plays out? Well, they go up. In fact, there's a lot of people now that are predicting that prices by the end of 2024 will be up in the ballpark range of 8 to 10% in the Phoenix area alone. Now, I can't speak for nationally because I'm not an expert on the national housing market, but I am an expert on the Greater Phoenix metro housing market. And I can tell you guys that situation is definitely more plausible than not for 2024. So I'm sitting here thinking that, man, the market would have to slide. I heard a stat too. The market would have to slide something like 41% to get back to where it was around the pandemic. Wages would have to go up overnight 63% to get back to where the affordability was prior to the pandemic. And these are big, staggering numbers, guys. So the chances are that that's obviously not going to happen, not anywhere remotely close to those numbers. And so what is going to happen if you just sit around and wait? Well, if you sit around and wait, there's a potential that you could potentially lose out again on some, not just long-term, but some short-term gain that this market's probably going to have here in Phoenix. I can't speak to the rest of the market. But guys, if those numbers play out, people hold on to their houses, buyer demand gets injected and is higher and higher because rates eventually have to come down a little bit, at least when the economy continues to sputter and slow down, then you're going to see a housing market that is going to actually increase in prices as opposed to decrease. Now, I have some data to back that up. I'm going to share it with you because you knew I had the data, guys. Come on. I don't just make up this all stuff off the top of my head. I'm not that smart, but I am smart enough to listen to the people who are very smart and think for myself as well, and then look at the practicality of what we're experiencing with our own clients when we're helping people buy and sell here in Phoenix. And this is all coming true. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, guys. This is interesting. Okay, here we go. Goldman Sachs. Did you guys remember? Okay. August 21st. Here we go. Okay. This just came out. But did you remember back in January, on the 25th of January, check this out. Goldman Sachs made all kinds of crazy predictions and forecasts, okay? And the Cronfer report, which we follow, called them out. This included a prediction that Phoenix home prices would decline by 25% in 2023. Goldman Sachs, guys, made this prediction. Well, it appears that they now have admitted their forecasts were way off and they have changed their outlook. They no longer expect U.S. home prices to decline in 2023. They are predicting a small increase in 2023 of 1.8% for the year. Here's the chart that Tina rubs it in a little bit, which is kind of cool, guys. Check it out. Here's their headline. Goldman Sachs predicts 5 months ago that Phoenix housing market could crash to 2008 levels. 2008 levels, down by 25%. These four cities could have double-digit home price drops by Goldman Sachs in March 3rd of 2023. Now, August 18th, right here, Goldman Sachs no longer expects U.S. home prices to decline in 2023. In fact, they expect it to go up 1.8%. So again, I love what Tina does. Say it louder for the people in the back. I can't hear you. That's hilarious. That's fantastic, guys. So having a little fun with Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs obviously does a lot of things very well, but predicting the housing market, they do not. But yet when they throw their opinion out there, because Goldman Sachs does have a stellar reputation in many aspects of the economy, people listen, they go, oh my goodness. So there were people that called me that were clients of mine back in January that said, oh my goodness, you see that article by Goldman Sachs? We're waiting. Meanwhile, the market has increased since then, and Goldman Sachs now, as of August, has predicted again that the increase is going to be 1.8% positive for 2023. Pretty crazy. By the way, guys, let me stop for a second. Question, comment in here, and I would be happy to address it and have a little fun with you guys. Answer any questions you have, or maybe just some comments. I'll read them out loud for everybody else, because if you're thinking it, someone else probably is thinking it too, okay? So don't be shy. Or let us know where you're listening from. Love to know where you're listening from. We have people from all over the country that comment here, as well as text me or comment or DM me as well, saying certain things or ideas they have, or just thank you, which is really cool to see and hear. So thank you guys very much for that. Okay, back to the housing market. So Goldman Sachs had some fun with that. Guys, you know we like to compare the CMI. The balanced market is 90 to 110. A balanced market is 90 to 110 on the Crawford Market Index, and we are nowhere close to 110 on any of these cities except for two. Maricopa, the town of Maricopa, and Queen Creek, the 104. Okay, they're both balanced right now. So you have, the concept is you're equal when it comes to negotiating a purchase contract, if you will, with those with Queen Creek and the town of Maricopa. You're balanced between 90 and 110. But every other city suburb, albeit they are declining right now because of the summertime we are experiencing here in Phoenix, they are declining, but they are well above, guys, the number that it needs to be, which is 110 to be balanced, guys. So look at this. Chandler's still at 302. Holy moly, 302. Chandler, good job. Fountain Hills was once upon a time the number one leading suburb in the Phoenix area on the CMI. They are now still doing very well, but they're still down at 195, which is down there, number 6 now, right here, okay? But everything's red on here. I mean, it's declining. Now, that is normal when it comes to the summer. Our seasonal market is real. It is just the opposite of most other markets across the U.S. Most markets are having a good market in the summertime because obviously it's not blazing hot and people are living their lives and doing their thing, getting ready for school, etc. Whereas in Phoenix, that gets out of the way. The school thing by June and July and August sometimes tend to be a little slower. Okay, not sometimes, usually it does, and you can see by this graph I'm going to show you right here. Okay, now let's read some of this because this is good. Now, this is average list price per square foot for active listings, which is a great chart to follow, by the way. Let's read some of this because this is good, guys. This is really good. I wouldn't just read for the fun of it because that's boring. So let's just read the good stuff. Here we go. First of all, they notice the average price per square foot is higher in week 34 of 2023, today, than in week 34 of all the years back to 2015, guys. So this week, now let's just pause for a second. I'm going to make sure you guys understand what that means. The week this year, right now, week 34, is the highest it's been for any other week, okay, since 2015, just this week, which shows that the market's resilient, that it's maybe bouncing back quicker than the normal seasonal trend where it declines in July and August and then eventually it goes back up. What it's saying is it's going back up quicker, potentially earlier than it normally does this year, which typically means that it could ride out to be a decent market, right? So here we go. You can see the graphs right here, guys. They all tend from September on, from September on, they all tend to go up a little bit. From 2015, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22 even stayed steady. They went down a ways, obviously, from June. We all know that story. But for active listings, there you go, okay? They can see also that every year has been higher than the one before for week 34. The weak pricing triggered in Q2 of 22 by a sudden jump in mortgage rates has only a temporary effect and now looks to be only a minor, lasting, significant issue, okay? $350 a square foot is what the active listings are averaging right now in all of the Phoenix area, okay? Because this is a very large sample, the chart is very well behaved. I love that. And shows us the following. The long-term trend has been higher for the last 8 years, with 2023 some 91% higher than 2015. Interesting. The summer is a seasonally weak period. We just discussed that, right? Each year showing a decline from May to August, except for 2020 because, of course, the COVID pandemic, right? The weakness in Q3 of 23 is similar to Q3 and 15 through 18, relatively normal and uneventful years. Number 3, today we see active list pricing 8.7% higher than we did this time last year. 8.7% higher. There's a larger increase than the 6% we measured at the same time last year. Okay. There was an unusually large and rapid fall between May and August last year on top of the seasonal weakness. This was heavily influenced by the price actions of the iBuyers who realized too late that they continued buying even while the market was cooling, resulting in them having far too much inventory by June of 22. They had to fire sale that inventory to decrease their exposure. One key problem is that the reality represented above is completely unlike the false narratives peddled by several sensationalists and misguided pundits on YouTube, not this one, right? And other social networks, that even more sober and serious analysts that were working for Goldman Sachs in January reported as well, okay? If buyers have been reading or watching this stuff, they may enter the market with preconceived notions that are very wide off the mark. This is why we talk about facts over fiction, data over drama, guys. This is why we talk about that. Know your facts. People act on emotion, unfortunately, and unfortunately, emotion gets you in trouble sometimes, or maybe not in trouble, but it doesn't help you make the best financial decision when it comes to financial decisions, or even any decision for that matter, for the most part, when you should be rooted in facts and the data of what's truly happening, even though you may not want to feel it or admit it. And when the people get on YouTube and the media outlets and they talk about this and that, and they feed in the narrative, it makes you go, yeah, that's right, because so-and-so is saying it. But the reality is you should do your own homework. You should watch shows that don't care if it's bad or good. They're going to report you the facts like we do here. Okay. So we're going to go back here and share my screen and go up to here. But this is encouraging data. Okay. So the overall right here summation of this is when buyers are actively looking for homes, their main source of information about home prices are the list prices for homes they see for sale. All other data is historic based on what someone agreed to pay weeks or even months ago. Here is what they see when they look at the active listings. This is what they see. Okay. Interesting, right? I think that's just absolutely fascinating. Okay. But let me say one more thing. We're done with this slide. Buyers expecting lower prices are going to be sorely disappointed, especially when the real prices are coupled with the latest 30-year mortgage rates around 7.4%. This is another reason why demand is so persistently weak this year. Simplistic observers believe weak demand translates to weaker prices. Weaker demand translate to weaker prices. This is not so. Nope. It translates to weak sales. But for prices, supply is just as important and remains drastically below normal, even though it has risen slightly over the past few weeks. Rising slightly will make the little difference. We would need supply to almost double for the market to achieve balance. So, guys, everyone thinks that weak demand translates automatically into weak prices. It does not. It translates into weak sales. Big difference, okay? And if you have weak sales, that doesn't mean prices will come down, because if you have low supply and demand stays steady or comes down at a much a lower rate than supply decreases, you're going to have prices remaining the same, or if not going up. Okay, that's the economics of the situation. All right, so we're going to move on now to some more Phoenix Business Journal housing market articles, which are interesting. A little bit different spin, but about the same stuff. And here's what they have to say. Here's something Phoenix hasn't heard in a while. Home prices show signs of stability. Okay, we've been hearing it for a little while here, right? Because you've been talking and listening to this show here, right? But here we go. Home prices in Metro Phoenix have stabilized, according to Tina Tambor, who writes for the Crawford Report. They're interviewing her, the Phoenix Business Journal, because they know that she's the foremost authority when it comes to local Phoenix housing economic data. Okay, Tambor says that she's also seen improvement in other analytics, including how long a home typically sits on the market. Okay, only about 40% of all homes sales involve concessions where the seller has to give something to get the deal done. That's pretty cool. Only 40%, guys. It used to be like 80, right? Okay. That kind of stability, in a sense, is a good thing. Okay. Buyers and sellers can make decisions based on today's scenario without it fluctuating on them so much. Still, that doesn't mean there won't be fluctuations later in the year, she said. Okay. Phoenix metro luxury market still on its own path. It is on fire, guys. The amount of money in this marketplace is crazy, and Phoenix is a big benefactor of that. There are a lot of properties right now, 2 million and up, that are selling for cash. In fact, over half of all properties selling above 2 million in Phoenix are cash transactions. Let me repeat that. Over half, about 60% of all properties over 2 million selling in Phoenix are cash transactions. Crazy, right? The people who aren't who have the money don't really care as much about what rates are necessarily doing. Okay, so it goes on to say that the market is just going great. But this is interesting, right? As rates climb, home supply will drop even more than buyer demand. Sellers will have more of an advantage, and home prices will soar even more. That's what I'm predicting. I predict home values will increase at least 10% over the next 12 months, which means with the 7% loan, you'd have obviously a home free and earn 3% along the way. That's interesting, right? I think that's a fair assessment. I really do. Okay, another one. Arizona fares slightly better as high mortgages, low inventory hit home sales. Okay, Arizona is not the rest of the housing market in the country. It's doing better and predicted to do better than the rest of the country over the next quarter and even the next year in 2024. Okay, so this is out of Washington. Here you go. High mortgage rates and tight inventories are hitting home sales nationwide, but agents in Arizona say that continuing influx of new residents to the state has softened the impact in the valley. The National Association of Realtors reported recently that existing home sales fell 2.2% from June to July, when 4.07 million homes were sold nationwide. That was down more than 16% from July of 2022, down 16%, right? A different report from the Arizona Regional MLS said sales fell steeply from June to July, but we're only down 3.1% from the same time last year. Okay, that's not bad at all. That's encouraging. Okay, so what's interesting is Lawrence Yun, the chief economist for NAR, he said that two factors are driving current sales activity: inventory availability, i.e., lack of supply, and mortgage rates. Okay, they are high, but people are getting used to it, right? They're getting conditioned to the 7 to even 8% rates now, guys. Unfortunately, both have been favorable to buyers, which is true. Okay. Arizona market helped by influx of new residents. Guys, that's the crux of the matter. Okay. We have lack of supply, but so does pretty much everyone else. But we do have a lot of people that are coming here from out of state. That's a no brainer. Now, what is cool is a quote in here that I heard that I'm not sure if I'll be able to find, but basically it said that rich people come back to Arizona when temperatures start getting below 100 degrees. That's a fact. We see it every year. And that's why the Arizona traditional cycle of values typically drops when it goes from June to August. And then in September, it starts to kind of go up a little bit. And then in October to November, it increases. Why? Because the temperature drops on average below 100 degrees sometime in October and even sometimes late September. Okay. And so people start to come back to Arizona because people love Arizona. The rest of the country loves Arizona. I was talking to someone this morning and they're like, you know what? My son gets transferred. I'm hoping it's going to be either Nashville, Tennessee, or Scottsdale, Arizona. He goes, and this lady goes, I don't know where it's going to be, but either way, we're going to follow him. I'm hoping secretly it's Scottsdale because I love Scottsdale. It's the desert. It's Southwest. The weather's amazing. I don't mind the hot, dry air, even when it's hot. And the people are awesome. And there's still a little modern flair to it as well, which I love. And she's kind of right. It's just a great culture in Scottsdale, a great culture in other parts, Chandler, Gilbert, Cave Creek, Queen Creek, Peoria. It's a nice place to live, guys. These places out here in the greater Phoenix area. So people are flocking here. And then when you have high paying jobs that are ahead of that population growth, which they are, because there's so many good companies with high paying jobs in the tech sector alone coming here that people just love. And Arizona's economy is going to continue to bolster the population growth. It is. And with that, you're going to need housing. When that comes and there's lack of housing and there's a lot more people coming here in demand from out of state, especially, you're going to have increased home prices. That's just supply demand economics 101. All right. So there's about 12,000 homes in the market right now, okay, for sale, but yet it feels like it's very, very tight, okay, because the demand is actually pretty decent. All right. Compared to last year in August, we were down about 40%, she said, right? Reddy noted that while interest rates are at a 20-year high, they are nowhere near 17 or 18% rates of the early 1990s. We just had such unusually low rates for so many years that now anything above 6% people are thinking is high. All right. Then right here, I don't think we're at the same place as the rest of the country. This guy says as well, Brandon Robin, managing broker for Arizona Realty Network. I think we are a diamond in the rough, and I think our economy here is going to continue to grow for many years to come. Now, hopefully, the Phoenix Business Journal picks up YouTube Live here, Everything Phoenix, and they start quoting this too, because I'm saying the same thing. I've been saying the same thing based on the data and analytics for the last several months. It's different, guys, which is a good thing. We just need some more supply, right? That's the problem. Okay, now shifting gears here, high schools, guys. People move to Arizona, they need to know high schools. They want to know where the best places are to send their kids. And, you know, Arizona gets a bad rap, I guess rightly so, for schools because we are always ranked, it seems like, in the bottom 5 of the 50 states when it comes to the public school system, but that's for the entire state. The problem is that ranking is that that's a bad look for the entire state when there are some cities and districts that are really good for the public side of things. Scottsdale Unified District being one of them, Kyrene Unified, Chandler Unified, Paradise Valley Unified, and there's a few others. There's also good charter schools and good private schools as well. But these right here are a ranking from the U.S. News ranking top 100 high schools in the country. And here you go, guys. These 3 schools in Arizona are among the top 5 best charter high schools in the nation and among the top 25 public high schools overall. Okay. Basis Peoria coming in as the nation's 2nd best charter school, and Basis Scottsdale coming in as the nation's 2nd best STEM school in the U.S. News rankings, right? Basis Scottsdale is also number 4 in the overall charter school list, followed by Basis Oro Valley in Tucson at number 5, and Basis Chandler at number 5 for the STEM school list. Okay, now let's just get right to it. Okay, here we go. Here are the top 20 Arizona ranked schools on the 23 list. Okay, with the national rankings in parentheses. Basis Peoria, Basis Scottsdale, Basis Oro Valley. You get a little theme here of basis, right? But hold on, let's pause. What is this based, no pun intended, off of? Okay. Where was the list I saw? This is based off of right here. The magazine said schools were where students scored exceptionally well in state math, reading, and science assessments were the highest ranked. So reading, math, and science. Okay. In addition, performance among underserved student populations, college readiness, and curriculum breadth were important indicators. Big words there. Okay. So here we go. University High School in Tucson, University High School in Tolson, Basis Chandler, Gilbert Classic Academy High School, Basis Albuquerque, Basis Phoenix. Oh my goodness, Basis everywhere. Holy moly. Arizona College Prep, Phoenix Union Bioscience High School. That's cool. Arizona Art School for the Arts. You got Catalina, Madison, Sonoran, Horizon. Okay. So there's the top 20 list, guys, right there for you guys. Let me know. I'll send it to you if you can't get the whole list here on this video. Okay. But there you go. And then we can also send you the top 20 ranked public high schools as well, because they're not going to be in comparison for what they rank these schools on when you compare them to the basis, the prep schools like that. So but there you have it. Okay. The next one. This is interesting. Water. Okay. Now we love our water talk here at Everything Phoenix because it's important. We're in the desert, guys, and water is something that, is somewhat scarce. It is a renewable resource because it rains and things of that nature, but we also lose it quickly too through other methods like evaporation and all that fun stuff, right? Water short Arizona cities want to use every last drop, even if it used to be sewage. Ooh. Okay, here we go. Here we go, guys. This is a fascinating article, by the way. It looks like a normal glass of water. It's like a story. Once upon a time, right? Clear, cold, and tasteless. Just a few hours ago, it was raw sewage. Okay. That water is the end product of a process and technology known as water recycling or direct potable reuse. Okay. So there's a demand in Western cities. What this article goes on to say, Colorado is the first state that passed a law with regulations for cities that want to take advantage of the direct potable reuse, setting standards for high quality water and requiring cities to do public outreach about the filtration process. Guess who else is in the mix? Arizona, Texas, Florida, California, and also Wyoming. Okay. The process is expensive and new standards are stringent, but for growing cities with limited water, the opportunity to squeeze every last drop out of that finite supply is an attractive proposition. We pay a lot of money to get water supplies, said Mark Marlowe, water director for the town of Castle Rock in Colorado. The last thing we want to do is just put it back in the river after we use it and let it go downstream for someone else to use it for free. Wow, this is crazy, right? Water talk. Okay. Miranda, how you doing? My niece attends University High School in Tucson. Sweet. It made the list. Yay. Your niece is in good hands. Very good hands. Thank you for commenting. All right. Abby, what's going on? That just sounds so disgusting. I know. I don't care how much they sanitize it. I know. It's the perception, right? The mind can't get around like, that's kind of gross, right? Miranda, where do cruise ships get their water? Okay. That's a good point, Miranda. You know what? Also, I don't know this to be true because I actually never went and did a research on it because I just didn't do it. But I heard on cruise ships that there's a rule or a law, right? If they're within like so many miles of land anywhere, an island or a big continent or whatever, they can't do this. But if they're out in the middle of nowhere in the ocean, they literally take all the sewage water and just dump it into the ocean. That's what I heard. I don't want to start a rumor, but that's what I heard, guys. Because I started thinking, because I went on a cruise one time and I was like, man, where did this? I mean, these ships are huge, right? Where does all that sewage water go? That's what I heard. If anyone knows that to be true, or where it goes, what happens to it, like, please let me know. And I will never drink out of a cruise ship bathroom faucet again, Miranda. Thank you very much. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So share about my screen back here. Here we go. This is the picture of that purified recycled water that used to be wastewater or raw sewage, right? It looks so clean, right? So clean. All right. So here we go. This is just fascinating stuff, guys. It's not inexpensive. So it's very expensive to do this process, right? As it should be, right? My goodness, right? You're taking raw sewage into drinking water. And it talks about how, because it's so expensive, is it worth it, basically, as opposed to trying to let it go, let someone else use it, and then, purify other types of water from rivers, etc. But their argument is here that, in rivers, you have elk, you have deer, you have other animals that are pooping and peeing, or did I say that on YouTube Live? I'm sorry. They just use the bathroom in the water, in the river, and we pull it out, and here you go, geese, elk, and there you go, right? And we have to purify that. So if it's human sewage water, does it really matter? And I don't know. I feel like it does, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know what to say on this one. It's a interesting topic, right? Here we go. They told me it's the ick factor, said Landon. Really, it's just the visual. It's the idea. It's the ick factor that makes them go, no way, Jose. People said they would use recycled water to water their lawns, or maybe refill the toilets or washing clothes, dishes. But the prospect of drinking gave some pause. After talking to 1,000 people on tours of the demonstration trailer, Landon said she was able to convince the majority, about 85%, opted to taste the purified water. That was used to be sewage, right? The key was twofold, right? It's about semantics, because let's be clear, it is, right? Let's be honest. They had to convince people to taste the purified previous raw sewage, that water that is now drinking water, right? I mean, right? So, anyways, this is a long article. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but you guys get the point. But this is coming, guys. This is coming to Arizona. I really believe it is, and we'll see what happens. But there's the proposed facility in Carson, California, is projected to cost $3.4 billion to build and $129 million to operate. You know what? I would almost rather see that company from Tel Aviv, Israel, that agreed to pay for the whole thing, guys, billions of dollars, to come do the desalination plant in the at Rocky Point down there in Puerto Prinesto, Mexico, and bring that water up, right? Let's get that salt out of the water from the ocean and bring that water up to Arizona if we could. I'd almost rather do that than know that it's former sewage water and now I'm drinking it. That's just get your Brita. I should buy stock. We should all buy stock in Brita filters now, because if this is coming, Brita is going to explode, right? Or any type of water filtration. I said Brita. That's like so old, right? I'm sorry, guys. I'm rambling, but it's hilarious. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up here, guys, because we are getting close to our time. But that was a fascinating article, I thought. And then we have, because I'm in YouTube, I love YouTube Live, and everything YouTube, right? I had to bring this article up because there's a gentleman who apparently siphoned $34 million in YouTube royalties, and now he's serving a minimum of 4 years in federal prison for it. So good for the justice system, right? That's not right. It's not okay. So I just thought I'd bring that up. A few more articles here that are interesting, guys. There's a Scottsdale construction firm that is building 1,000 rental home units across the country, primarily in Raleigh and Tampa, Florida, and Dallas area, guys. So that is big, guys. Build to rent is a big thing. We've been talking about it here. It's big here in Phoenix as well, the Phoenix area, but it's going on everywhere now because people want land. Meaning the yard, right? They want space, but they don't want to own once they're past a certain age, 65, 75, whatever. They don't want to go into a condo or something like that. So this gives them the ability to have, a rental type situation where they have no maintenance to worry about, things of that nature, but still have a yard and have it feel like home ownership. So this is huge, guys. And with all baby boomers that are retiring, this is going to get bigger and bigger. Big business, okay? And then there's a big development in the Mesa Industrial Park here, guys, that's coming along. I throw it out there right to you guys because that's always interesting. Then a Massachusetts multifamily investor makes a Phoenix debut with a key acquisition of this Arcadia Cove apartment complex they paid $130 million for. Okay, yep, these apartments are big, big business. And I got two more things for you, and we are done, okay, on this version of Everything Phoenix YouTube Live. Mesa approves zoning changes to steer marijuana businesses into industrial areas, guys. I'm not sure if you are aware, but marijuana is legal in the state of Arizona and has been now for a couple of years when it passed on one of the ballots that all the citizens voted on. And so Mesa City Council is now changing some zoning codes that dictate where cannabis-related business can open and relocate in the East Valley City. So having rules around us, I think, is a good thing. If by majority vote, if it's now legal, which is, I think it was like a 51 to 49 vote, something like that, if I remember correctly. So it was very split down the middle. So there's a lot of people who aren't for this. So having some rules around what they can do, I think, is a good thing, obviously, right? And last but not least, guys, tonight, the debut of Kenny Dillingham and the Arizona State Sun Devils as they take on Southern Utah at Sun Devil Field here at 7 p.m. on the Pac-12 network, guys. The opening debut of college football is here. My favorite and my good friend and client, Kenny Dillingham, is a phenomenal human being, and he's the head coach, first year guy, and I just wish him all the best, and I know he's going to do well, and his staff. So we wish him the best tonight against Southern Utah, and the Kenny Dillingham era is now officially kicked off here for Arizona State University, which is located right here in Tempe, just south of Scottsdale here, where I'm located here in the Phoenix area. So go Devils. All right, guys, that's it for right now. Thank you for joining. Thank you for commenting. And if anyone has the knowledge of where this sewage goes from cruise ships, please comment below in the video or DM me. Let me know. I think everyone else kind of wants to know too now that we're thinking about it. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys, and have a wonderful day. And we will see you next week here on Everything Phoenix YouTube Live. Stay classy, Phoenix.